Good evening and welcome to the show, everybody. You're watching Seeing the Unseen with your host, Christopher LaPrath, and my name's Kenan, his son and the producer of this show. Now, tonight we've got a great show for you, but before I get into a quick introduction, just a quick piece of housekeeping. So for anybody who's here joining us for the first time, make sure you say something in the chat so we know you're here. That goes for everybody too, just so we know that you're here and watching. We want to make sure we see you here. So just participate, say something, hello, anything in the chat, so we know you're here, and we'll put you in line for a reading. So tonight's title is Wrong Side of the Bed, which, that's the colloquial saying, waking up on the wrong side of the bed, right? And a lot of people, if they have that little crick in their neck or whatever the case may be, that one thing can turn their whole day into less than great. Now, how was your day today? I know for me there was a little bit of intensity around some interesting things, but there are 86,400 seconds in a day. And if you had that in dollars, like in a bank account, and someone took $10 from you, would you spend the 86,000, nearly $100,000 going after that 10? Well, no way in the world. That wouldn't make sense. So I know myself, I've spent days sometimes fixated on moments that were even less than 10 seconds. And really could have spent my time more wisely. But that, I was telling someone this story about a Buddhist monk that uses the analogy of serving tea to our thoughts. That our minds are like our homes in a way, and we have the front and back door open, and thoughts come and go, but it's about being aware who we're serving the tea to, what thoughts we're giving our attention to, and our emotion to, because that's the tea, is the feeling. Now, a great question to ask is, do I need to be feeling this right now? Because a lot of times our emotions aren't even ours, especially for those of us who are more sensitive. And how we feel in each moment is completely up to us. That's an important point to remember. That's the ultimate freedom that we have here in life. And knowing that, like the saying goes, a bird's eye can turn a blizzard to a breeze, a perspective shift can change everything about how we feel, everything in an instant. And with that, thanks so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of the show. Here's Christopher.
Happiest and blessed Memorial Day weekend. I light this incense for the memory of those that have come before us, or those that have lost their lives. Want to send them blessings, and any loved ones that you have lost, send them great blessings, because they're around us. They help us. They guide us. These ancestors, many of them whom we've never met. I have never had a chance to even meet my grandparents, but I know they're around. If any of you read my book, I've definitely seen my grandfather. So, great blessings to you. And for tonight, I have a couple of quick points to share, because I've gotten a couple phone calls this weekend, 2 or 3. And I guess the question that I want to ask is, are you cheating on your partner? Let me explain that. Let me explain what cheating is. Let me explain what I'm talking about as far as a partner goes. The partner, your partner, is the universe. Your partner is source. And let's say you were married and you went to your partner and go, you know what, I'm going on a 7-day binge. I'll be back. Don't worry about me. I'm just going on a binge. It would really be cheating on the partner. So I thought Kenan made a really good point tonight about our thoughts and not serving them tea. When we get into fear, when we get into worry, we're kind of cheating on the universe. Okay? Because we know the universe is our partner. And when we get into fear, fear can override intention. Fear is ingrained in the human brain. It is what helps us survive. But when it goes overboard is when you can cheat on the universe and get into that fear and then actually start creating that fear, making that fear real. And so this is where fear can override intention, no matter how strong intentions, how many phrases you say every day that are positive, rah, rah, ree, kick him in the knee, how many positive intentions you are putting out there or you have on your fridge. If there's fear, then you're not really connected. So notice the fear. It's what Kenan was talking about. Rather than saying, I'm really sad or I'm really afraid or I'm really what, first of all, label what emotion are you feeling. When you can feel it, then you can name it and not call it on yourself by saying, I am. No, it's the emotion of feeling sad. It's the emotion of feeling angry. It's the emotion of feeling frustrated. But it's not you. So I would highly suggest being free of saying, I am mad, I am sad. Notice the feeling. Label it. And then put it in a jar and throw it out. Be free of calling yourself that emotion. Okay. I have 2 group cards because they're both really good. So the first card for the group tonight. How does the light shine in the halls of Shambhala? Okay. Everyone's probably heard of that song. Shambhala is also known as Shangri-La. It is said to exist in the Himalayas, however you want to say it, in India and that area of the world. And it's supposed to be the home of Kali, or Shiva on Mount Kailash. So the point of this card for you today is, and everyone on the show, is our ability to expand our awareness. So it's not about what we're going through, or it's not about what we're experiencing, or it's not about what we think we're feeling. That's all given to us to expand our awareness. So taking a look back and stepping away from it, like, have you ever tried to tear 2 dogs apart when they're fighting? Likely you will probably get bit or seriously hurt. Get in the state of mind when you have this emotion come up, label it, but step back from the dogfight that it's causing in your brain and observe it, and then will calm it down. This is about energetic expansion. This card is a beautiful card because it's our wheel of Dharma, Dharma. And Dharma is a Sanskrit word that relates to our unfolding life path. So it's an ability to take a look at our path objectively and be able to see a broader scope of it. Call in this light of Shambhala. And it's actually present, otherwise this card would not have come up for the group tonight. So it relates to every one of you, is the ability to work with the great masters that have ever lived on this earth. They're still around us. They're still within the earthly realm in a different dimension, but it doesn't mean that they're inaccessible. But the further we climb that mountain, the further we go for that enlightenment, that higher way of thinking, higher way of doing things, the greater this light can come through. Realize that there is a master awakening within you. So, the other group card I wanted to share with you is the outsider. Here's a child at the gate that believes they are locked out. But if you look closely at the card, the chain is not locked at all. It's our appearances, it's our perception. And he's very, very convinced that he's locked out. Are we serving thoughts, T, that come in our brain? Do we allow them to linger, that think that we're not, that think that we're an outsider? Are we entertaining those thoughts and serving them tea, as Kenan said? This is what was a group card tonight. So when it comes up as a group card, it applies to every one of us. What thoughts are we allowing to entertain, and are those thoughts distracting us from the unlocked gate that we are perceiving as locked? And a lot of this has to do with early childhood experiences. And any of you that have had a private reading with me, many times this has come up, specific instances where we were shut down as children, because here we're giants, which were adults, because pretty much every adult appears as a giant to a child, right? Here you have giants telling you how life should be, or you observe how they're viewing life and you think you need to view life that same way. That's not even you. It's just what you learned. You know what? You can unlearn it. If you learned that 1 and 1 equals 3, hey, do the math. You can learn 1 plus 1 is 2, not 3. You can unlearn it. So this is possible for you. But everyone goes through a transitory period. So when you're going through this transitory period, it's like when you're climbing a mountain. Laurel, if you're on tonight, you know what this is like. You had this experience a few years ago when you went from Texas up to hiking in Colorado, where the altitude was so high, right? You had to stop and you had to climatize. You had to get used to the altitude. All of you are growing. I check in with all of you after the show, before the show, and I can actually see this, your elevation on the mountain, and it's growing tremendously, and you're feeling different. So you are not disconnected from the universe. I'm going to tie this all back into Shambhala, right? And tying into the source. So great blessings. Look around. Your gate is never, ever locked. Okay. Who's on first?
Awesome. Tonight's Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay. Okay. So, Lindsay, so I talked about when I went to the seminar last weekend, doing the simple exercise. They've researched it. I went to this class all weekend, and one of the major things I learned, this exercise and the research that they've done, that it does to the brain. So, Lindsay, while you're doing this, it's safe and okay for me to be fully Lindsay. It's safe and okay for me to be fully Lindsay. And letting go of when you were little, of having to adapt to your family situation constantly. And so sometimes it wasn't okay for you to be you. Okay, tell your brain, that was then, this is now. It's okay for me to be fully Lindsay. Okay? And you're always and forever free of compromising who you are or the need to explain who you are. You know, that's why I love the movie Devil Wears Prada. Meryl Streep doesn't have to explain who she is, or the character she plays in the movie. She doesn't need to explain who she is, or what she does, or why she's doing it. And anywhere where you had to do that in the past, it's not wrong or bad. You had to do that at that time to survive. Are you willing to let that go? And because you have, a mother told me this one time, you have two girls. And this mother told me that when their kids were fighting over a cookie or a candy bar, she would say, one divides, the other decides. So one would be responsible for cutting the cookie. The other one would decide which side that they wanted. So as a mother and having girls, right, two girls, one divides, the other decides. It's a fairness thing that I thought was really a great parenting niche that you can use that might be really helpful, especially with the girls. And ask them, what's fair for you? Just open the dialogue. It's more about the dialogue and connecting with them, which you're great at. Okay, who's next?
Marilyn Pitts.
Hey, Marilyn. Congratulations on the kittens finally being born. I'm really, really happy to hear that. So it's time for you to definitely play. We talked about, I know you had a private reading this weekend. This is about you going to the ocean. There's something about fireflies and sparklers that will, I don't know if you can buy sparklers yet for the 4th of July, but there's something about, or sitting on the beach with a fire, there's something about the sparks that are very, very comforting to you, very enlightening. Oh, and I got to tell you all this incredible story. So I did a private reading for Marilyn this weekend. I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Marilyn. So one of Marilyn's gifts that came up in the private reading is her ability to communicate big time with animals. And the night before the reading, I had this wild dream about I was hugging this beautiful red dog. And this dog was just amazing. It was just loving me and going on and on about this. Yeah, they were just loving on me. Anyway, Marilyn ended up, I got to find it, Marilyn. I got to show all of you. When we started, I said, Marilyn, did you have like a big red dog? It's kind of a red dog. And she goes, yeah. And she actually sent me the picture. And I kid you not, everyone. This was the dog that was in my dream. It looked like a lion. And I was just hugging this thing. But pay attention to your dreams. Keep a journal by your bed. Try to force yourself to wake up a little bit to even write down a portion of the dream so you remember it when you wake up. But this was a very, very vivid dream, and I didn't understand at the time why I was having that dream. I just thought it was an interesting dream. But I'd never had a big red dog like that. I didn't mean anything to me until it came up in the reading. So then during the day, this was another unusual experience. During the day, I was at work, and I saw this out of the corner of my eye. And many times when you start developing these your skills and your talents, you'll see things out of the corner of your eye. And I saw this black movement out of the corner of my eye, and I just had this impression it was a big black dog. Well, this was Marilyn's other dog. And that's exactly what I saw. Anyway, I hope you didn't mind me sharing that, Marilyn. But I just thought it was such a great experience that our skills are growing. And I don't necessarily know what your skills are, but pay attention to little things like that. I wanted to share that with you because it had such, oh yeah. And her name was Shadow. Thank you, Marilyn. And I had pulled the shadow card. I'd actually pulled a shadow card that said Shadow, called Shadow Illusion on it, was the name of the card. Yeah, it was amazing. And then Maxine was the black dog. Yeah, really funny. So anyway, this is playing more. And what can we do this weekend to play? What's going to be good for us? All right, keep that in mind. Go do something fun. So, Lindsay, are you willing to be open to the need to define yourself? Are you willing to let go? Are any of us willing to let go of the need to define ourselves? That might free you up a little bit. Okay.
Lori's up at Mac here.
Hey, Lori. Thanks for being here. So it's really, I don't really watch the news very much at all, ever, because it's really easily to emotionally, it's like, to me, when you're watching the news, it reminds me of a sci-fi horror where these tentacles are coming out from your phone, the TV, whatever you're reading, whatever you're watching. These tentacles come in and they wrap around your emotional nodules and just jerk you out of yourself. Political issues, LGBTQ issues, religious issues, even watching those Karen videos can just really flare, an inflammation that can be really harmful to you. So this is integration. If you're wanting to integrate more of really who you are, bring it all together, be free of watching or talking or inflaming an issue around that, around any issues. It's not helping the consciousness of the world. It's definitely not helping your own consciousness. And with anyone on the show, you notice when you watch a news program or you watch a happening on your cell phone, how you feel afterwards. And I almost guarantee that there's a drain of energy or there's an upsettedness to where they're actually projecting that upsettedness into you. Okay. Who's next?
Awesome. Yeah, Marilyn and Abby.
Hey, Marilyn and Abby. I'm so glad you guys made it home safe. You guys, they drove out here with granddaughter Stephanie, I don't know, 3,000 miles from South Carolina to Phoenix. Spent the weekend doing the seminar and drove back. It was amazing. It was an amazing trip. So I'm really glad you made it home. I wonder what this card is. Oh, it's rebirth. So I'm pulling this for both of you because it pertains to both of you. Rebirth for both of you, and guidance. When I was about 16, we did a missionary trip to South Dakota. Because, at that time, I was 16, all those South Dakotans, they needed saved. If you're from South Dakota, be free of taking offense. That's the way I was thinking when I was 16. So we would drive for miles and miles. Many, many times it was just miles of nothing. Miles of nothing. And, of course, it was before GPS. We just had old maps that kind of pointed where people lived, and we'd actually go visit them in their homes or try to find their homes. Anyway, we were all young. I was with two 21-year-olds, and then there were two 16-year-olds in the back seat, me and another guy. We were like going to save the world, going to save South Dakota. And so we're driving down this road, and when it rains there, the roads become extremely treacherous. They become like this slime. And we got stuck in deep, deep mud. And we were all inexperienced. And so we spent hours out in the field picking grass and throwing it under the wheel and trying to get out. Anyway, about an hour in doing this, maybe we were there longer, we looked up and there was a truck. And this cowboy was standing we didn't hear the truck come up. Standing outside of his truck. He's looking at us. He didn't say anything. He turned his truck around, backed up to our car, got out, didn't say anything, hooked us up, and pulled us out of that ditch. Got out, unhooked it, never said a thing to us, and drove off. And there were no houses for at least 10 miles. That road went nowhere. It was a dead end. Where he came from, how he showed up, those are guidance. Those are examples of guidance or angels. And are we all willing to be open to working with a higher power? Willing to be working with these angels to awaken, to help other people wake up, understand what is happening, because this is both of these cards. This is the rebirth card, and this is the guidance card. You're going to have more people reach out to you. But you're also going to have, and you know what, I'm talking to everybody on the show now, you're going to start having more synchronistic events in your life, similar, like that story with us getting stuck in the mud. And sometimes we're stuck in the mud mentally and emotionally. Hey, there'll be an angel in a cowboy hat with a tow truck pulling you out. Okay.
Hannah's up next.
Hey, Hannah. Thanks for being here. I love it. So as you know, if you're new to the show, I just shuffle through like this, and I let your guides pull the card. This is the source card. So I'm going to go back to my introduction about not cheating on your partner. Your partner is the universe. And anytime there's any worry or fear, basically when there's worry, it's really based on fear. And fear can override all the great intention. So if you missed the beginning of my program, your partner is the universe. It is source. And connecting to that source and staying free of worry is going to have you not cheat on your partner, which is the universe. This is, and being free of the need to push your intention or force your intention. This is like a baby. You actually do not want that baby to come out a month early, 2 months early. No way. You want that baby to go the full 9 months. What I mean is, if you're connected to the source and you have this intention, say, okay, universe, would you like this for me? Would you like to create this for me, or something better? This or something better. And then when you give it to your partner, the husband doesn't go, oh my God, is that baby not coming? It's been 3 months. How come that baby's not here yet? It's been 6 months. How come that baby's not here yet? No. You give it to the universe. You don't say to the universe, okay, how come it's not here? Because then you're cheating on your partner in not trusting your partner. Okay? And it's actually trusting yourself. I hope you all got that. Did I explain that okay? Okay, good. So this is trusting, putting it out there, this or something better, letting go of the worry. It's in good hands. Okay, great. Who's next?
Gio and Kat, Jared and Kat.
Hey, Gio, Jared and Kat. Yeah. All right, thanks, guys. Okay, perfect card. Just what I was talking about. This is called postponement. Anywhere Anywhere where you believe there's any postponement, are you willing to let go of that now and rather go, this is not universal timing yet? And go, oh, well, this isn't interesting. Let's see what unfolds from this. Because there is a gift there. And if things don't work out, your schedule on how you think things should work out isn't necessarily the universe's schedule or your guide's schedule or the source's schedule. How I'm talking the same language: source, guides, angels, God, however you want to term it. It may not be that schedule. I mean, you leave for a concert, 2 hours before, but Kat wants to leave 3 hours before, but you've already checked the GPS and the traffic, and you can absolutely leave 2 hours before. Or the airport, let's just say the airport. And it's an international flight. So you kind of know. So be anywhere that you're feeling like things are being held back or they're not working out, are you willing to let go of? Okay, and then Kat. So Kat, okay. So Kat, have you ever been behind a semi truck or a diesel engine that's kind of off, and you're just kind of like gagging in the diesel or the smell, and it's just kind of overwhelming? Can you go around that truck? Or can you slow down enough to where you're much, much farther behind so you're not experiencing that exhaust? Your energy is being drained. Your nature is to help people. But there's an appropriate time to help people, and there's an inappropriate time. Right now, you're experiencing some exhaustion from people you're trying to help, and I'm not talking about your kids. That's absolutely appropriate, helping your kids. But this is like outside the family, friends, it's too much. So can you call your energy back? Just call your energy back. They're wanting an inappropriate amount of energy from you or attention. And doesn't mean that they're calling every day. I don't mean that type of thing. It's where they're tapped into you. And anywhere where anyone's tapped into you energetically, can you cut those ties right now? Because that's not healthy. It's not good. Who's next?
Awesome, yeah. Scott's up next.
Ambrosi?
Yeah, Scott Ambrosi.
Ambrosi. Okay. So one time, I wanted to go out with friends for my birthday, and they one by one called that day and said, "Hey, could we do it this weekend? Something came up, blah blah blah." And I was feeling really bummed. And little did I know that they planned a huge surprise party for me. So what's happening with you is you've kind of felt cut off or whatever, but you're beginning to see all of these moments and guides, and it's like a surprise party where any of the isolation, it's tears of joy that are going to be melting that isolation. It's getting your mojo back. It's getting your gear back, because this guy is crying, but it's actually good. It's like tears of joy that are melting the ice. So, and letting go of anything and everything that has ever trapped you before. It's really opening up for you. And I want to thank you for being here and pulling that card, because that's a great message for all of us. Like, overwhelmed with this sense of joy and peace and security and fulfillment. That's it, fulfillment. Okay.
Nice. I've got Doreen on last.
Hey, Doreen.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for being here. Okay. We are the world. We are the children. You remember that Michael Jackson song? You join hands one by one. If you're in a big circle, everybody joins hands. And you're free of getting like upset that people aren't joining hands fast enough. This is the influence that you're having. Sometimes, people are looking at like their Facebook account. You go, "Oh, I only got like 50 likes on my post." Okay. But what are you doing energetically that's even more profound and more important than a Facebook post? What energy are you putting out there to really bless people? This is what your guides are wanting you to focus on, and not focus on, but be aware that you're doing. So what you're doing is you're touching other people's lives. Now, because you may not have validation of how you've affected them, because you may not even know their name or where they live or anything about them, and they're not on Facebook, but every day that you're out there or that you're doing your program on TV or whatever, never underestimate the power of transformation. Yes, you use food. You're a chef, right? Scott is a writer. He does it by writing stories. I do it through this medium, through Medium. Haha. Anyway, whatever your work is, it doesn't matter. From the janitor to the president, everything in between. It's not what you're doing. It's the energy behind it that is helping transform people's lives. So what a great card for all of us to end the show with tonight, to know that we're having a tremendous impact on people. And you know what? It's okay to have some downtime. It's okay to regroup. Okay? That's what the group card was about tonight. It's about the outsider, that it's okay for you to take some time and to regroup. And the Shambhala card, how does the light shine in the halls of Shambhala? This was all about taking an opportunity to retreat and recharge. Absolutely important. All right, everybody. Shannon.
Yeah, Shannon Cox just hopped on me.
Awesome. And who's Evermeal?
Oh, they've been on before. I'm not sure.
Okay. So Shannon, awesome to have you. All right. We'll pull a card for you. Everybody welcome Shannon. I think this is her first time. Huh?
I think so too.
Yeah. Everybody welcome Shannon. It's nice to have you. Go all in, Shannon. All in. Totality. This is the trapeze artist. What kind of a trapeze artist would a trapeze artist be if the trapeze artist never let go of of the trapeze. It's this moment of, oh my God, I let go and I'm just kind of flying in midair, but somebody's there to catch you. It's the thrill of living and being in this thrill of life, knowing that you're here and you're accomplishing great things. You may not know who's watching you. You don't know any of those people in the audience, right? You don't know any, but you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself and for this feeling of freedom. So I get more freedom coming your way. Okay? And Evermeal? Okay. Okay, Evermeal, thank you. What can you let go of that's no longer serving you? It's called the burden card. Anywhere where so a lot of religion sometimes teaches that if we take on other people's problems, that makes us good and holy, or if we're poor, we'll get better seats in the kingdom of God. You know, the first 10 rows. At least the first 10 rows. If we do the poverty thing, it's how it's ingrained. And are you willing to let go of that and be free of carrying other people's burdens or other people's stuff for them, or trying to make it right for other people? You're going to get more of your energy back if you stop doing that. Whew! We got everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody. Let's do this again tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Great blessings to you. Happy Memorial Day tomorrow. Relax, rest, meditate. Have a great night.